So this particular principle is all about what happens when we apply pressure. And the generalized principle that we're talking about is called perturbation. Perturbation. Now, if you go and Google this, you're going to find more calculus and algebra known to mankind. And the guy that actually discovered this actually won a Nobel Peace Prize for his work. And I'm going to do my best to explain this most simply at a human level. Okay, so when pressure is applied to any human on the planet, okay, it could be financial pressure, it could be pressure to go and achieve something, it could be pressure to move away from a bad situation. It doesn't matter what the pressure is, it can look in lots of different types or in different modes or show up differently. Humans do one of two things. Firstly is they'll want to escape. They'll want to take the pressure away. If I could just take that pressure away, I would go back to where it feels comfortable, okay? So no pressure equals comfortable, all right? And that is one way to deal with that particular pressure. The other way is to push through the pressure, and that's what we call perturbation, is where you are under pressure. Your comfort zone is not feeling correct, okay? You're feeling like you're growing, but it's kind of, you're a bit challenged. You might be a bit confused. It doesn't feel that comfortable when we're in perturbation. When the pressure's on, that's the whole process of perturbation. Now, when that happens, right, when there's been enough perturbation and pressure applied to you, what is let off is emotion. If you think about this in your life, there'll be a point that you've probably had a good old cry on something where maybe the pressure just got so much that you either, you will cry, or maybe you got just angry and vented, and got very, very upset. That will be an example of what's released when a person is under high amounts of pressure and perturbation. Now, the reason why we've got this line here and then these multiple balls here is that you change. When a person pushes through that, they kind of bust through a ceiling, and they turn from a different state to another. Now, what I mean by that is once they've gone and achieved something, or they've pushed through a comfort zone which they didn't think was possible, okay, and they're at a different part, they actually grow. This is, real personal growth. And that's the reason why the way I've drawn this is we've got multiples of the singular here, okay? So once a person changes, I'll give an example on this. I was coaching a person in the finance industry, and this person had a banking background. They hated sales, okay? They absolutely hated sales, especially any cold sales, okay? They were the typical order taker type of personality type. If I don't have to sell anything or even offer or do a pitch, I'm fine. Okay, but this person, after a lot of, I confronted their fears. That their fear was fear of rejection, and we put a lot of pressure on that particular person. I had the guy in my office many times saying, I can't do it, Bruce. I'm so uncomfortable now, and I don't like doing it. And he went out, he pushed through it, he had a couple of cries in front of me, he pushed through that barrier and got one of the biggest sales that he'd ever got, actually the whole company had ever got, on when he was at his most vulnerable. He came back to the office, he was so elated, and from that single day, the guy now is one of the best salespeople in that organisation. He is the business owner too, I might add. But he used to abdicate other of those sales functions to other people because he didn't like selling. So once he'd moved through that, he got a lot of personal growth, and thereafter, now he loves sales, okay? So perturbation is the process of being uncomfortable and then pushing through that. Remember, you've got two choices. You can go off and take the pressure away where it feels comfortable, do what most people do, and just live a very a comfortable existence, not in terms of lifestyle, but there's not a lot of personal growth. That's what I mean by that. Or we can keep the pressure on and push through and become, have growth in whatever area in your life you need to have growth in. Nelson Mandela said it the best for me, is he says this, he didn't say it to me, but he said it as a quote, and that is, why would I take the kettle off the fire when it's about to boil? And basically what he is meaning by that is to get the full, what we want in a process, to get the full result, we've got to keep the fire on. We've got to keep the pressure on so that we get to that boiling point. Okay, here's another one that I want you to take a note of, and it's a rule, it's a law of life. If you think of any tree, okay, the tree's either growing or it's dying. In the tree world, we sit still. Either it's going up or it's coming down. The same applies for humans, is that we're either growing and pushing through to a different space, or we're kind of dying, we're regressing. Okay? Now, I can tell you that perturbation, when people start to become aware of it, they don't like it, okay? And we always say we need to embrace perturbation, so that when you are in perturbation, that you embrace it, okay? Is that you say, hey, I'm uncomfortable, I'm bubbling away right now. It must be good because I'm in a growth mode. I'm about to have some form of breakthrough on something, whatever that may be, some learning that you can have. So perturbation, that's where the true growth is. Embrace it. Watch that you don't take the easy option. This is why a lot of times we're not good at keeping the pressure on ourselves, hence the reason we need some coach driving us through that. Because if I use that example that of my financial planner guy, he would have never, ever got to that place that he had if he hadn't have had a lot of pressure and released a bit of emotion of it. Embrace it, go and do it. It's cleansing to do it. So, all the best with perturbation, and make sure you keep yourself and your kettle on the fire. Go and do it.